Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink and the fact that it's been one of the most bullish altcoins against both Bitcoin and Ethereum for the last 3 years. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. So if you guys follow the channel, you know that we talk primarily about 4 coins, and Chainlink is one of them, Link tokens. And the reason we talk about Link is primarily because of its great historical data, its price history against not only USD, but also against Bitcoin and against Ethereum. If you are new to Chainlink, one of the really nice things about it is that despite going through a bear market where most altcoins bled against Bitcoin and against Ethereum, in fact, Chainlink has done the exact opposite. And it's continued to go through these boom and bust cycles against Bitcoin. Looks a little bit different against Ethereum, and we're going to cover that in this video. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. Now, the thing that we want to first talk about is Bitcoin. And the reason is because one of the things we've talked about before is this bull market support band. Okay, and this is primarily used for Bitcoin, at least I primarily use for Bitcoin. And all it is the 20-week SMA, which is what I prefer to use, and combined with the 21-week EMA. And we recognize that this, as we've said before, is our support in a bull market. Okay, this is our support in a bull market. And when we break it, it's not a good thing, right? It's not a good thing when we break it. When we go above it, we tend to shoot up for a while. When we break it, not so good. Here we didn't shoot up above it nearly as much, but again, when we broke it, really, really bad. This time we broke through it. We went sideways into it, broke up, sideways into it, more or less. I mean, it was more up and then back down, but sideways into it and then back up. Now, the reason why this is important is because we just want to apply the exact same indicator to Chainlink and see if we can come to any useful conclusions about what the price of Link is doing against Bitcoin and against Ethereum. So the first thing we'll do is, let's go ahead and look at Link Bitcoin first. So if you look at the price, the valuation of Link against Bitcoin, we notice that there's a lot of these boom and bust cycles, okay? Where it goes into this major peak against Bitcoin in the short term, things get really out of hand really quickly, but usually things come back down to earth. And when I talk about coming back down to earth, I mean simply coming back down to, as I showed on a prior video, an exponential fit to non-bubble data. So, this can be considered, say, an exponential fit. I'm just crudely drawing it, but we have it in the last video I did on Chainlink. But remember, this is a logarithmic scale over here. Okay, so because this is a logarithmic scale, so you can see what it looks like on a linear scale. By looking at it on a logarithmic scale, we know we're witnessing exponential growth. So when it goes above like this, it's basically even more bullish than already the exponential growth that we see when we just fit it to non-bubble data. That's how out of hand Link can get when it really starts going. And one of the things we've talked about a lot on the channel is identifying these boom and bust cycles and trying to get into the market when we're back in this region down here. And I don't have the chart on me for this video. I'm just using TradingView. But again, you can see those charts in prior videos. The general idea again is getting into the market when it's back down here and trying to take profits up in this region. And of course, there's going to be a lot of Link Marines out there, I'm sure, that would argue you never sell your Link. And I would humbly disagree. I think that taking advantage of these bubbles in the short term can actually significantly help you increase your stack. At least it does for me. Again, this is non-financial advice. But for instance, on the last move up, on the premium list, we were talking about, doing these dynamic dollar cost average sells of Link to Bitcoin, corresponding to, I think the highest price we hit was 4/15 of my portfolio of Link out at $18.50. I also sold 3/15 at $14 and 2/15 at $10. So hit a lot of good sells. Most of them went back to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin then did really well. So now the idea is okay, well, we know that when Bitcoin's testing the 20-week moving average, as we've discussed before, Bitcoin is a great coin to focus on. And the reason is because altcoins bleed against it during this period of time. And a lot of times altcoins will bleed when it's super volatile as well. So when Bitcoin is super volatile, altcoins will likely bleed against Bitcoin. And what again we want these Goldilocks regions where Bitcoin's above the 20-week moving average and moving sideways. This is where altcoins really shine. So if we were to see something like that with Bitcoin in the short term, then this could be a great catalyst for altcoin moves. Now, one of the things we recognize with this Link Bitcoin valuation is if we just keep up our bull market support band, we notice that it's not as useful as the one for Bitcoin, where we can see that it really does tend to hold support in a bull market. Link, however, has basically always been in a bull market, and so we always talk about, well, we don't know what Link will do in a bull market. We should say we don't know what Link will do in a cryptocurrency asset class bull market, because for Link, it doesn't even really know what a bear market is. I mean, these are just short-term corrections, right, from blow-off tops. I mean, it's really hard to look at a 3-year chart where the valuation against Bitcoin from the bottom goes up at the peak 11,000%, and from where we currently are, still 5,800%. And this is a pretty steady increase. You know, it's not like we just like shot up and then it's just been bleeding for forever back to this level. Instead, it's just been a steady increase, right, with bubbles, with intermittent bubbles on the way. So one thing we can take away from this chart, though, is it does tend to dip below this band, but not very much. And you might consider this to be an opportunity when it does. So, for instance, here you can see that we dropped below it by about 20% or so. Here was another instance where we dropped below it by about 20%. This one was not nearly as much, only about 6% or so. I'm not even going to measure this one because this is a rounding error. And then this one, at the wick, it was down 23%. So the point here is to recognize, you know what? When the valuation of Link against Bitcoin is about 20% below this bull market support band that we've used typically just for the price of Bitcoin against the US dollar, here we're using against Link Bitcoin. If you see this kind of stuff happen in the future, it could be an indication that we will see a turnaround. Because, I mean, this wick took us down to 23%. We're already all the way back up to only about, less than 5% below that band. So this is just something I want to draw people's attention to, because I think that using this can be quite indicative of the macroscopic view of Link. And also, I want people to try to identify these parabolic moves, right? You want to be the smart money getting in as close to this as possible, right? The closer you are to this, I think the better, and especially if you can get in below it. The further you're getting away from it, right? I mean, here's an example from the 20-week, which is the red line. It went up about 180% above. Here it was about 40% above. Here was another one that reached around 70%. This one reached around 80%, and then this one reached around 123%. The key thing when we see these breakouts is just to stay level-headed. And if you can stay level-headed and not fall for the FOMO that it's going to go up indefinitely forever, then I think it works out a lot better, because you don't want to be that schmuck basically buying at the top here and then riding it all the way down. Fortunately for you, I think that Link will bail you out. It has a way of bailing people out. If you're buying Link with Bitcoin historically, buying at all these local tops, it wasn't too long before Link bailed you out and continued on to higher highs. But remember, this trend won't last forever, so you just want to be careful. You don't want to make a habit of buying up here, right? You really don't want to make that habit. I think there's a great chance that Link will rally to much higher than 166,000 Satoshis this market cycle, probably sooner rather than later, which is about twice the valuation that it currently is. But again, you don't want to make a habit of coming into the market when we're 50 to 100% overvalued by the 20-week. So in the future, there's going to come a time, most likely, where we get above the 20-week moving average, the 21 SMA, the 21-week SMA, or the 21-week EMA. We're going to be above it 50 to 100% probably. And I'm going to come on and make a video and say, you know what, guys, remember what happens when we get to this level. Well, it doesn't last forever. Okay, it doesn't last forever. And again, it does not change our macro outlook on Link. I mean, this is not financial advice, but of course, I'm very bullish on Link for this market cycle. And I'm excited to see where it can take us. But I really would like to take advantage of these bubbles that form, that we've seen form time and time again. We see a similar trend for Ethereum, but not quite as pronounced. So if you look at the Ethereum valuation, this first one was actually quite substantial at around 37% below, but a lot of the other ones weren't as bad. This one was about 8%. This one we had a wick down to about 9%. Most of these are not too bad, about 10%. And this is just simply the Link Ethereum valuation. So this would be another good indicator in terms of, all right, whenever you see Link Ethereum come near this support band that has historically acted like a decent level of support, yes, we can sometimes go below it, right? We know that we can sometimes go below it. But you can see here's another instance of us just riding that 20-week SMA or 21-week EMA of the Link Ethereum valuation. And historically speaking, it's not too long before we just simply continue on up. And I mean, you can see the general trend, right? I mean, we kind of come up and go over a bit, and then come up and then go over, and then come up and then go over. So the general idea here is just to identify, more or less support areas. I'm not a huge fan of using just like static lines as regions of support. Yes, they can work in some instances, but I really do like looking at what I would consider to be really aggressive bull market mode support lines, especially for an asset like Link, where it never got the memo that altcoins are supposed to bleed against Bitcoin when Bitcoin is going through a bear market. It just never got that memo, and I hope that memo never gets delivered to it. So moving forward, I mean, we've looked at a Link Bitcoin, we've looked at Link Ethereum. Link USD does tell a very different story, and in fact, if you look at sorry, that's the wrong one. If you look at the support band here, it's completely different, and I don't think it's nearly as useful as the ones that we showed for Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, obviously, you can pause the screen and look at this indicator for Link against USD. But I do prefer to think of Link in terms of its Bitcoin valuation and sometimes its Ethereum valuation. Because ultimately, if I'm trading Link at this phase of the market cycle, I'm generally not trading it to USD. I'm trading it back to either Bitcoin or Ethereum. So moving forward, we're gonna want to keep an eye on Bitcoin. Remember, including Link in your portfolio does improve your risk-adjusted returns. That means you would expect volatility with Link, but the nice thing about Link is that its positive volatility is often offset by Bitcoin's negative volatility, and Bitcoin's positive volatility is often offset by Link's negative volatility. So by having them both in your portfolio, they can be very complementary and help ensure or help. We can't say ensure because we don't know what's going to happen, but at least encourage the market to continue to slowly move up, because if one asset isn't doing so great, hopefully the other one's picking up the slack. So that's the general idea behind this analysis. If you guys like the content, please subscribe. Help me get to 50,000 subs. Remember, we do have the premium list at intothecryptoverse.com. You get access to weekly reports, weekly videos. You also unlock access to all the prior reports and videos. You also get access to the risk dashboard, which is what I used to trade, including with coin like Link, and as well as the Telegram alerts channel, the Telegram chat room, and now I'm starting to add TradingView indicators. And in fact, I added the bull market support indicator to TradingView. I use it for Bitcoin, and right now its title is Bitcoin, but you can simply apply it to any asset you want and look at these general trends. Again, all it is the 20-week SMA combined with a 21-week EMA with a color-coded region in between them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the content. If you guys liked it, again, please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.